All right, guys, welcome to week 8. We're moving right along. I'm gonna try my best to get through this as quickly as possible, so that you have the opportunity to work on this week's assignment. In the coming weeks, we're not going to have weekly assignments, but more so we're going to have very your reflections are going to be very important to these lectures, so that I'm seeing feedback from you, and we are seeing um, a sharing of ideas. And that's the biggest thing, because this class is for motivating. This class is for finding that drive, for goal planning, for organizing your life and how it's going to look in college. What I wanted to start with is I wanted to look at the fact that we do have some questions that I wanted to cover really fast before we get into our GPS lesson for this week, or lecture. We only had a few questions. A lot of people didn't have a lot of questions, which is fine. And a lot of people didn't even do the discussion, which is not fine. So make sure that you are taking care of your business weekly. This question says, what is the best time of day to work on school? That varies. That varies on what your schedule will allow, what your family schedule will allow, your personal schedule, work schedule. Um, I don't believe that procrastinating and putting things off until the very end of the day is a very effective way for you to approach working on school. But if it's your only option, it's your only option. First thing in the morning, we talked about before, being able to be up and be productive at an early hour in the morning while the rest of the world is still kind of not. That's also a good time, but it doesn't really work for everybody, because we're groggy, or we have to be at work early, or other things come up. So it's really, where does it fit in? But the one thing personally I would say is really stay away from the late night. Um, Stay away from the 9, the 10, 11, and 12, unless it truly is your only option. And keep in mind, you're only sacrificing a short amount of your life for a lifetime of change by furthering your education. This one is a tough question that I'm going to respond to. What would you say to somebody who wants to pursue a career in something that won't make them a lot of money in the long run? Should someone give up on a career that they are passionate about in order to pursue someone that will keep them more financially stable? I will never discourage anybody from following what they want to do. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. There's some jobs, and I've been doing this for a while, that I have students say that they want to be I don't know, a three-toed salamander environmentalist protection agent or something. I'm making that up, obviously. And whenever you look at the scale of pay, you're just above the poverty line. Um, I don't feel personally that I would invest time and effort into higher education um, to do something that's going to barely allow me to live. Because ultimately, living is key. The financial world does revolve around you. And if you don't have the ability to maintain life for you and your family, you may want to think about changing. But again, if you're passionate about it, you'll make it work. And that's really the big thing. If you're passionate about something, it's your job to make it work. It's your job to not leave college in so much debt. It's your job to be able to balance budget and keep focused on what the prize at the end of the day is, and that is your job satisfaction. So that's a tough one to answer, but you really do need to look at the long term, bigger picture. Um, how, how much do you think one should work while attending school? This is a tough one. Whatever you can positively maintain an AB average without ruining one of the worlds: school, work. You don't want to lose your job because you're too tired or you're not on time, and you don't want to see your GPA slip because you're working too much and you're not having the ability to study. I would love to see, thank you, buddy. I would love to see everybody be able to go to school full time without having to work, but that's not an option. I attempted that based on student loans and getting student loans. And like I mentioned before, I left school with I'm pushing $100,000. We were looking at $84,000 in debt, and because I attempted to work, but then I said no. I kind of got lazy, and I wanted to just do school. So it's a balance. It's a balance. It does working outweigh not working? Vice versa. Obviously, money coming in is always going to win. In the video, you mentioned you changed your major many times during college. Did you ever get scared or unmotivated thinking that you may never finish the career that was meant for you? If so, how did you manage to motivate yourself without giving up? I had no clue what I was doing for a long time. And honestly, I thought I was just spinning my wheels. And I honestly felt that I just needed an easy out to graduate because I knew I wasn't going to quit. Hindsight being 2020, I wish I would have stayed in the business world and went on the financial side of life, and was able to make a ton of money, working in the financial industry. But big picture is that I love doing this, and I don't know if I'd have loved doing that. So how I stayed motivated, I had to be intrinsically motivated without question, because I didn't have anybody really sitting there pushing me outside of my parents kind of being cheerleaders, like rah rah, oh, you're doing such a good job, yay, that type of thing. So I had to understand that I needed to finish college. And if I didn't finish college, then I couldn't do any next step. And honestly, whenever I graduated, I had no clue what I was doing anyway, because I did not have a direct linked degree to a career. I had a degree with an idea of what I could do with it. And I wish I had this class to be able to dig into careers, dig into my aptitude for ability in certain areas, and then be able to guide myself. I would have finished a lot quicker. I would have, honestly, I would have made a ton more money than I do in education. But again, things happen for a reason. So big picture on this, I go with the flow. I don't get stressed out about stuff. Things happen for a reason. We may never recognize that reason for an extreme amount of time, but it is important for us to know that things do happen for a reason. And don't be so laid back that you don't attack and go and get the things that you desire, the things that you want, but don't freak out. Don't freak out. If you're in school one more semester or one more year, big picture is you have a lifetime to reap the benefits. You have an entire lifetime to reap the benefits. What can I do if I'm having troubles downloading what you send to us so we can edit? This is a tough one because it's hard for me to see what is going on your side. Please know that everybody has free Microsoft Office. If you go to Microsoft and download the student pack, you use your Lone Star email and you get it for free. And so a lot of the things I do is through Microsoft. I know the Google world is very prevalent now. That may help you, but unfortunately, I don't know what you're seeing. So if you have more specifics, you can just email me directly, and I can try my best to help figure that out. Best way of practicing time management is the final question that we have this week. What is the best way of practicing time management? It is to be able to get into a rhythm, is to focus on waking up early as you can humanly do, and spend a short amount of time meditating, in a sense, deep thought about what needs to be accomplished that day, or spend 10 minutes writing down bullet points on what need to be accomplished that day. You may have carryover from day to day, and that's cool, right? Everybody does. I do. And it's a matter of, if you have the ability to knock out things before the rest of the world wakes up, before the rest of the world gets going, you are going to be more successful. Once you taste success, personal success in completion of tasks and goals, that's how the ball starts rolling on becoming a time manager, right? Because time is elastic. It's how we manage it. We can stretch it. We can, it'll tighten up on us, but it is definitely how you approach the management of it, and it's to attack it early on. And procrastination's a booger, but force yourself into completing tasks in order to understand how success feels in doing so. Okay. Hopefully that answered that a little bit. I know it's a tough question. I'm watching my time down there and I don't want to go too far. So stay tuned. I'm going to run through the GPS with you. So I will be right back. All right, guys. I am sharing my screen with you. Hopefully this will work. Welcome back to the second half. I know in reality it was just a little hitch in the system there, but what I want to do is I want us to talk about focusing on the future, and I want us to really be able to develop a plan for life. And I started doing this lecture about I think 2 years ago, and it proved to have some absolute wonderful success. And so I really hope that you get something from this assignment and this reflection. All the time I talk about you have to reflect in order to grow. It's kind of, you got to tear down, see how the parts work, and then be able to move forward on something else to achieve, right? So I like this graphic right here, and it says, where are you now? This green dot is where you currently are right now. Where you want to be is out here. Okay, so this is kind of your current knowledge. This is what knowledge you need to be successful in your career, to be successful in your life. This will forever expand. This will forever expand. Okay, if you ever have the green meet the edge of the blue, these two edges meet, then you have stopped learning, and you've I don't want to say you've given up on life, but you really have got to a point where you no longer want to grow, and you no longer want to gain any more knowledge. And so that's where, thank you, buddy. Okay. Thank you, buddy. Okay, go play. Sorry for the interruption. And so if you become stagnant in learning, your brain is a muscle. You'll greatly reduce your honestly your life expectancy. Not that I'm saying if you're not learning something you are going to die, but down the road, if you're not continually exercising your brain, muscles lose density. And you look at muscle loss of somebody who works out and then they stop working out, and then all of a sudden you lose muscle. Well, it's the same thing with your brain. So we really need to teach ourselves to forever extend this, right? And then forever extend this. This is what you currently know. This is what you need to know. All right, so where are you at with your current goals? The GPS system is a little bit different, setting up goals, if you will. One thing that you have to ask yourself is, do you look at them, right? Do you even know what your goals are? And what is your plan for future goals? What is that next step? And that's something that we really want to look at with this idea of a GPS. We know what a GPS system is. Everybody has it on their phone, and it tells you where you are and how to get places. You even have them now. They tell you where cops were, that if there's roadkill on the side of the road or potholes. It's pretty amazing technology. We're going to be looking at something a little bit different. So I got this idea from a book called Living Forward, and a coworker of mine, she said, "Hey, you really need to check this out. I want you to read this book." And I said, "All right, I can get down with that." So I read the book Living Forward, and the one thing that really stood out to me was it talks about the idea of a GPS for your life, and that's kind of where we're going with today's lecture and what you're going to actually reflect upon with the assignment. So a GPS, what does it do? It gets you from where you are to where you want to be, right? But we're talking about something a little bit different. We're looking at a GPS not as a global positioning system, but we're looking at a GPS as a growth potential system. How much potential do you have, and how much have you recognized that you have, and what else can you recognize that you're capable of? All right. So we want to know how to get, and if you go back, how do we get this to here, but then keep expanding this beyond? Okay. A GPS requires you to input your destination. It says direction here, and that's cool because what direction in life you're going, right? What is your destination? What does that outer blue circle represent to you? Nothing is going to actually happen until you decide what to input. So if I have a GPS and it's on my phone and I look at it and I say, well, I want it to work for me. I just don't have an address to put in it. It's not going to work. Same thing with a growth potential system. If you don't have an idea of where you're going in regards to what this is, what you need to be successful in your career in college, then this will never expand. This will never grow because you cannot see the line to get there. A GPS gets you there faster, right? A GPS gets you less hassle. Okay, you type it in, you'll avoid traffic. They'll take you down side roads, and they'll get you there. Like your navigation system, having a growth potential system plan takes the stress out. So once you realize what your potential is, and you may be sitting back going, well, I don't even know why I'm in college. I'm not even that smart. I've heard that so much. It's the dumbest thing in the world. You have the most powerful thing in the universe right here in between your ears, and everybody has it. Okay. And so whenever we're looking at what is your potential, you better hit those lofty goals. Like one of the questions I answered earlier about what is your passion compared to money? If money is your passion, then recognize what you have to do to it. If a specific career is your passion, recognize what you have to do to be able to make that work in your life and be able planning out how to do that. That's what we're talking about today. Okay. A GPS gives you constant feedback. If I take a wrong turn, it's going to say, please make a U-turn, turn left, make a U-turn, turn right, turn around. Where are you going? You get constant feedback on your progress. It tells you where you are in relation to your goal. Now, if I'm looking at a GPS, a global positioning system, then yeah, I get constant feedback. But if I'm looking at a growth potential system and I know my plan, I know my route, I am going to be able to say, you know what, this is not working out good, all right? Or this is great, or I'm happy with this. I'm like, do I need to make changes, or this is not working out in my favor? So we're getting constant feedback on where we are in relation to reaching that outer, that blue circle. And that's funny. My son brought me this little blue circle. So again, it tells you where you are in relation to your goal because you have a plan. You have something that you're looking at daily. You're looking at it every morning, bright and early, right? Top CEOs, the millionaires of the world, the successful people of the world, however you want to look at them, they're all before 5 a.m. risers to get their day focused. And this is an excellent time to look at what's bad, what's good. Are you happy doing this? Are you, I'm kind of stuck in a rut? Or are you not satisfied with what is going on with your growth potential? Because then you switch it up, you make changes so that you can actually see growth in where you want to actually be. All right, guys. So a GPS will also help you get back on track. Just like obviously you're going to make a wrong turn if you have a GPS on. It's going to lead you back to where you need to be. And if you look in this picture here, I do apologize, a little bit pixelated. But sometimes we're like, well, how did we end up over here? Or how did we end up over here? And this route may seem right. And what it does, it allows us to go back to point A, okay? And it allows us to discover where we went wrong. A lot of times this is where people like to give up. And this is where people like to get down on themselves. And, if it's not working out for you the way that you envisioned your plan working, we don't go back to point A and we give up. We get out here in the question land and we say, you know what, I'm done. And so then you allow life to defeat you and not allow yourself to really grasp a hold of success. You're going to lose your way. You're going to take a wrong turn, but this will give you a reference point. If you have it planned out, what is your plan? How are you going to achieve it to be able to really realize your growth potential? You can you can always come back to where you went astray. A GPS is going to be able to calculate, and this really ties into our Path to Success paper. It'll help reroute you around roadblocks. Obstacles are going to be inevitable, but a good GPS is able to adjust and recalculate on the fly. Same thing as the GPS that we're talking about, our growth potential system. If I already know what the plan is, and I've already identified barriers with your Path to Success paper, thank you. 5 of y'all have done it so far. It's due at the end of the semester, so please get that done. But a good GPS is able to readjust, recalculate on the fly. So if you if you know point A to point B, your little circle to your big circle of what you know now compared to lights are on, compared to what you need to know, then you are able to recalculate and change. Like if next semester you know that you need to take these certain classes and then one is filled up and you have the inability to get into it, you need to know how to reroute that. Okay, so when can I take that course, and what course can I take that's not going to waste hours in its place so I can pick it up the next semester? Those types of roadblocks are the ones that are going to be mainly faced right now that you really need to be able to work yourself through. Now, one thing that you have to understand is a GPS is not always accurate. Okay, we're throwing arrows here at the board, and we're not really hitting target here. So understanding that you're not going to always get it right, but you have to be able to adjust. You cannot let life overcome you and defeat you just because you simply run into something small. And if you don't have a plan, and the plan encompasses goals. I'm not asking y'all to look and set goals, but the plan encompasses goals. And so what I want y'all to do is understand that investment is important. If we do not invest time into our growth potential, what growth area are you potentially able to grow in the most? It's like paying for, like we have on here, it's like paying extra for navigation in your car. It's worth every penny. Okay. Now, obviously that's pretty standard these days. But it's worth every penny to be able to sit back and say, what do I need to do to realize my ability to grow and ultimately my ability to, go from this circle to this circle with ever expanding this circle. So continuing to move out, right? Sorry about that. Okay. So let's see. All right. So what is your plan? The goal is to not go back and just go back to business as usual. Okay. If I have a plan, it's something that I need to stick with. It's kind of a life changer. It's not the idea of this is now what, this is what I'm going to do for this semester, and then I'm going to go back to regular next semester. What I want you to do, and this is going to be in the assignment, or in the assignment tab, what you're actually going to respond to. What I want you to do is I want you to think of your plan from the remainder of this year. What is your plan for the remainder of this year? We're not doing school years. We're doing calendar years. From now to December, what is your plan? What are you going to be working on? And then beginning in January, I want you to take step 2. What is your plan for the following year? Then what is your plan for the following year? We're going to go 4 years out. I want you to be able to create a pathway, okay? And this can look any way that you want because everybody's growth potential system, everybody's plan looks a little bit different, and it is guided by different things. This assignment is a true reflection. I want you to visualize the path in words, and then I want you to actually follow the path. This is not necessarily a goal-oriented thing, but this is, if you've already met with your advisor, this is going to be super easy because you know where you have to go. For instance, here would be a good example that my plan is to continue to focus on completing everything on time in this learning environment that we currently have for the remainder of the semester. And there's fingers crossed we go back to normal after this. Following year, I need to make sure and I need to register for XYZ. I'm going to take these courses in the springtime. I'm going to take these courses during the summertime. I'm going to take these courses during the fall. That's going to get me to this point. So we're stair-stepping where these individual plans, a 1-year plan, a 2-year plan, a 3-year plan, a 4-year plan. Where are they going to get you into your next step? There's no right or wrong answer for this. However, to very simply say that my plan is to pass all my classes, that's super, but that's not going to get you from this to this. Okay. You have to be able to visualize how are you going to reach this area out here. Okay. So look at the assignment. It is very straightforward. It is very simple. I'm going to give you an outline on it, and you should be able to easily reflect on understanding your growth potential. So until next week, make sure you do your reflection. Make sure you do this very easy assignment, and we'll see you next time. Email if you have any questions.